to make the easiest cheese bread you've ever made in your entire life, get ready, because this is super simple. What I find makes it a little bit easier is setting the ingredients aside. Get yourself 1.5 cups of warm water, maybe hot tap water, seems to work well for me. 2¼ teaspoons of yeast, a teaspoon of salt, and then you're gonna need 3¼ cups of flour. That's what you're gonna need to start it. Later on, you're gonna need to have about 2 cups of cheese, about 2 cups. You can certainly use more, but I find that you have to cook it a little bit longer, the cheesier that it is. And also you're gonna need some seasoning, but we can use the seasoning later on. In a bowl, dump in your water, add in your yeast, and you don't even need sugar for this. Usually when you make bread, you have to add sugar. Add in your salt, give it a little whisk. In your flour, give it a whisk. Definitely gonna need to get your hands in there. Find it a tiny bit dry like that, you can add a splash of water, but not very much. It has more of that consistency as you're just mixing it together, and that's it for now. Everything's totally optional. I'm gonna add a little bit of onion powder. Sometimes I add a little bit of garlic. I'm gonna add a little bit of parsley. Toss in some buttery steakhouse rub. I think it's a little bit versatile. It doesn't have to just be for a rub. And I've used this before and it's pretty good. These seasonings are optional. Just give that a little bit of a mix in there. And then we're gonna add our cheese. The fun part. Let's add all that cheese. You can certainly add more than that. I'm gonna dump this on parchment paper right now just to incorporate the cheese together, and then I'm gonna grease my bowl and put it somewhere to proof. Run the cheese in there. You can tuck it in the middle, but you're not kneading it, you're just mixing the cheese together. Messy bowl, just add a little bit of olive oil to grease it. I'm gonna plop that right back into the bowl, and you're going to put it somewhere to let it rise for about 1.5 hours. I have a proofing setting on my oven, so I'm gonna put it in there. You can certainly put it anywhere that is warm, just not in a place that's cold. Throw out this parchment paper, you're gonna reuse it, and we're gonna get our Dutch oven ready so that in about 1.5 hours, we'll be able to put that in the oven. Right, it should look like this. Doubled in size, maybe a little bit more. So you're gonna take your used parchment paper and you're gonna slap that right down like that. Just gonna form it into like a little bit of a ball on your parchment paper like that. You're gonna lift this and you're gonna put it inside of your Dutch oven. You can preheat this Dutch oven for maybe 5-10 minutes in your oven. You don't have to. I'm not going to this time, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. And that is just like this. Now you're going to cover it and you're going to place it into your preheated oven at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. You're going to remove the lid. And before I added it to the oven, I did add more cheese and sprinkled some parsley over top. Just felt like it was missing something. I'm very pleased with the results with it. I'm so happy that I found this recipe. It's so crunchy on the outside and it's so soft and fluffy in the middle. And you could add any seasoning you want to this. You could even add jalapenos to this. Or if you like dill pickles, you could add that. You could add olives. You could add onions. The possibilities are endless. You could even make it a sweetbread if you wanted to add raisins and cinnamon. You could certainly do that as well. But for right now, this is just a really simple go-to recipe. I make bread a couple times a week anyway, so this is just like that nice extra kind of a treat bread in the middle because it's definitely not a sandwich bread. But a great addition, even if you're going to a potluck and you wanted to bring something with you, or you're going over to someone's house, you made someone something and you wanted to add a little extra to it. This is not much effort to make something so beautiful.